Hello all, Serge here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to configure TF2 to work in VR mode with your Oculus Rift S and Quest headsets. As far as I'm aware, there aren't any tutorials for how to get this to work specifically for these devices, so I wanted to make this video to help anyone get this working. I'll warn you though, this is definitely a strange and involved procedure to get this work, so make sure you got a good hour or so to spare to get this all set up. I'm going to be using a Steam guide written for the HTC Vive as a reference to get this working. There's a link in the description below, but I'll be changing any specific configuration to match the Rift devices. Also, in case you're unaware, TF2 will only work in VR while using mouse and keyboard as controls, so you're not going to be able to use any controller and the motion controls or anything like that for this. Your headset controls basically a little bit of camera movement, but otherwise you just play the game like normal with your mouse and keyboard. So without further ado, let's get this started. So the things you're going to need to get this to work is obviously you're going to need a VR headset. This tutorial specifically is going to be for the Oculus Rift S and the Rift Quest, but it's been confirmed to work for the HTC Vive as well. Basically, you're just going to need a recent VR headset to get it to work. You're going to need the app Virtual Desktop. It costs, I think, $15 on Steam. If you could afford a VR headset, I assume you could also afford $15 software. I completely understand not wanting to pay for another software, but if you want to try this out on TF2, you gotta drop money on it. Sorry. Finally, you're going to need some patience. Getting this set up for the first time is kind of irritating, a little confusing, but afterwards is pretty straightforward. So basically this procedure consists of utilizing your Oculus headset as a separate monitor. This is how the older Oculus headset, the DK2 I believe, worked initially for TF2, which is why the configuration for this is kind of weird because these devices have evolved and they don't work the same way as they did whenever they first came out, believe it or not. The first thing we're going to need to do is create a custom resolution in our graphics card settings to match the resolution and refresh rate of our Oculus headset. To do this with an NVIDIA graphics card, open up the NVIDIA control panel. Once in the application, we're going to select the change resolution option underneath the display tab. And in this window, we're going to click the customize button. At the bottom of this customization window, we're going to select create custom resolution. Now, in this window, the only settings we're going to be changing are going to be horizontal pixels here, the vertical lines, and the refresh rate. We're not going to touch any of this other stuff down here. We're going to set the horizontal pixels to 2560, not 69, unfortunately, 2560. And we're going to set the vertical lines to 1440. These are the dimensions of the Oculus Rift's display. And finally, we're going to change this refresh rate to 80, and then we're going to hit test. For me, I already have this resolution set. I can't make it again. So after the test of your custom resolution is complete, you should see this resolution in the customize window. I have two here, and I'll explain that later. We want to make sure that each of these resolutions has a check mark next to it, and then we can hit OK, and we can close the NVIDIA control panel as we're done using this. Now that we've established the resolution we're going to be using, we need to configure Windows to use it. Click the Windows button, and click the Settings button. Now we're going to click on System. After you click on System, you're going to make sure the Display tab is clicked here. And then we're going to go down to this Display Resolution box here. We're going to select the custom resolution that we just made right here, that's 2560 by 1440. When you click it, it's going to make sure you want to keep these display settings. Hit Keep Changes. Now we want to make sure that that's applied the way we want it to be. So we're going to go to Advanced Display Settings down here. And in this window, it's going to tell us what our current desktop resolution is, and it's going to tell us our current refresh rate. If this isn't 80 Hz, what you're going to need to do is you're going to click on Display Adapter Properties for Display 1. This window will open talking about what graphics card you have. We're going to click on the Monitor tab. We're going to click on Screen Refresh Rate and change it to 80 Hz. So if you're like me and your monitor can't handle a refresh rate of 80 Hz, then this next section is going to be for you. If your monitor could handle 80 Hz at least, then you can go ahead and skip to this point here. But this next part is specifically for people whose monitors refresh rates are below 80 Hz. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to finish setting up custom resolutions using our headset. So what we're going to need to do is we're just going to press the Oculus button on the right controller. We're going to click on this virtual desktop icon here, and boom, our desktop pops up. We're going to need to open up the NVIDIA control panel again. And then we're just going to go ahead and go to Customize. And then we're going to click Create Custom Resolution. Now this section is going to be a little bit different. So again, we're going to use the same resolution, 2560 by 1440. But we're going to keep this refresh rate the same. So this number here is going to default to whatever your highest refresh rate your monitor can handle is. We're going to leave that alone for right now. And we're going to click Test. So it's going to change our desktop's resolution now. And we should still be able to see our desktop right now. Alright, so now in this custom window, you're going to have your Rift S resolution at your monitor's refresh rate. Now we're going to make another one, then we're going to change this to 80 Hertz, and we're going to test it out again. So now when we test it out this time, it's not gonna, our monitors should be dead by now. We shouldn't be able to see anything on our monitor, and we can only use the Rift S to navigate. So we're gonna hit yes to save that, and now we have 2 custom resolutions showing up now. This lower one will be at your monitor's native refresh rate, and this will be at the Rift S's specs. And then we're gonna hit OK, and that's it for the control panel. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and open up the settings. We're gonna go to System, Display again, and then we're gonna go to Display Resolution. And now we should see this resolution right here. This is why we needed to put in our monitor's native refresh rate, so it would show up in this box here. So we're going to click that. Our resolution is going to change. We're going to say yes, keep changes please. And yeah, so we're going to go to Advanced Display Settings. And as you can see, our desktop resolution is at this 2560 by 1440, but our refresh rate is at 75 Hertz again. So to change this, we're going to go to Display Adapter Properties for Display 1. Click on Monitor. And then we're going to go to this drop down and change it to 80 Hertz. Now our desktop, our monitor shouldn't be showing anything anymore. It have died. Not died, but it shouldn't be displaying anything. So we're going to keep that. But we should be able to still see with our Rift, right? Okay. And that's it. That's how you use how you set up the custom resolutions using your headset. And if you want to revert these changes, all you got to do is again, you have to do this through the headset. But you're going to just go back to your display settings, go to display resolution, and you're going to click 1920 by 1080, or whatever your recommended resolution is. And yes, we're going to keep changes. And this will just change it back to your native resolution. And if we go back to your advanced display settings, it'll be your native refresh rate. So that's how you go ahead and set up custom resolutions and how you revert it. Congrats! You made it through the hardest part of this tutorial. Now we still just need to make a few configurations to TF2 and to our app Virtual Desktop to get everything working correctly. So first, let's make sure that TF2 is going to run correctly in VR mode with hopefully no hiccups. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to go navigate to our Team Fortress 2 folder. So now we're going to go into this. We're going to go into this TF folder. See, I have some custom stuff in this folder. Got some custom configs, some sounds, custom HUD. We don't want any of this. We want to make sure that everything will work without any mods first, and then we can try later. But for now, we're gonna say no mods. If you keep if you've got any other CFGs, like if you've got an auto exec in here, you're probably gonna have to take that out, and then you can put it back in after we get this all set up. But just to play it safe, we're gonna basically be pure TF2. So now that our TF2 is pure, we're gonna have to force it to run in VR mode, and that's pretty simple to do. All you gotta do is open up Steam, find TF2. We're gonna right-click on it, on Properties, then we're gonna go to Set Launch Options. We're gonna type in -VR and -full screen. If you have anything else in this, I would recommend taking it out, just like we took out our custom stuff. This will absolutely work with pure TF2, but so we don't want to have any custom stuff that could possibly mess up our experience, cause a game to crash, whatever. So we're just gonna have these 2 commands in here. We're gonna hit OK. And then before we close out this properties window, we're gonna make sure that this is unchecked. Use desktop game theater while SteamVR is active. Make sure this is unchecked, and then we're gonna close this out. And that's it for TF2 configuration. And now we need to start messing with Virtual Desktop. Alright, so Virtual Desktop is downloadable through Steam or through the Oculus Store. I think it's a little cheaper on the Oculus Store. On Steam, it's 15 bucks. And yeah, basically ironically, it does the same thing that we had to use earlier to set up our Oculus Rift. But specifically, the way that it displays is what we need to be able to run TF2 in VR mode using Oculus Rift hardware. Alright, so now that we've got our Virtual Desktop installed, I have installed it through Steam. We're going to want to go ahead and open it. So we're not going to want to just go ahead and open it from the desktop. We're actually going to want to open it through Steam VR. So if it's not already open, we're going to want to open Steam VR. Alright, so now that we're in Steam VR, we're going to go ahead and open up Virtual Desktop. Launch that. Yeah, make sure, if you have the Steam version, make sure you run it through Steam or else it's not going to work out for you. Alright. This is crooked for some reason. Okay. But, so, controls for this are pretty easy. If you want to move this screen, which is pretty much all you're going to be doing, so you're just going to use the grip button here. Just grip it, and you can move it and pull it wherever you want to move it. To select anything, just like pretty much anything else, you just use a trigger. And that's about it for tutorial on how to use this software. It's not difficult, it's just a desktop. Alright, now the two things we're going to be interested in changing are the screen options and the 3D options. In the screen options, we're going to turn on headlock and no delay. And in the 3D options, we're going to turn on full SBS. Now you can go ahead and turn on headlock right now, and you'll see it basically just locks the desktop wherever you're looking, so it'll follow your head wherever you go. No delay is pretty self-explanatory. There's no delay in this, it's instant. And this next one is full SBS. So basically what full SBS does is it's gonna split your monitor in half, and it's gonna display the left half of the monitor to your left eye, and the right side of the monitor to your right eye. Now this is very disorienting whenever you first turn it on, and I'm not gonna be able to show it to you guys. You're just gonna have to do it whenever you actually get into this point. So whenever I click full SBS, I have it configured to where it's just gonna show you my left eye, and we'll get to the reason why in just a second. I advise not turning this on just yet. Actually, what you're going to want to do is I am actually going to move this window. I'm going to turn off headlock for a second. I am going to move this window to the far right of my monitor. And I'm going to move the play button of Team Fortress 2 to the far left of my monitor. We're going to select this again, turn on headlock. So before you turn on headlock, you want to make sure you're facing the direction you're going to be facing whenever you start playing. That's good. And then we're going to turn on full SBS. And so now you should be seeing the left side of my screen, what I can see in my left eye. And the reason that I placed the virtual desktop screen on my right eye is because when I close my left eye, I can see the virtual desktop over here, and I can turn off full SBS if I need to. So that's why we're doing this. And the reason I put the play button on the left side is because since you're going to be seeing the left side, I'm going to go ahead and navigate over to the play button once I turn on full SBS. Okay, so we are gonna hit play, and this warning is gonna come up, and it's gonna say Team Fortress 2 does not support VR. It'll appear on desktop and may affect VR performance. Okay, click OK. You're gonna get this warning every single time you play the TF2 like this, but that is what we want. This is how we're actually gonna force it to do VR mode with our hardware. Yeah, now that we've loaded into Team Fortress 2, it should look kind of strange. Should just be a little square window in the middle of your screen that follows your head wherever you go. All right, this is good. That means you've set everything up right thus far. So now to actually enable VR mode, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go to options. I'm going to click on video. We're going to make sure this virtual reality mode is set to enabled. If it's not, just change it from disabled to enabled, and it'll tell you that you need to restart the game for VR to work. And go ahead and do that, and start it up the same way that we just did a couple seconds ago. Actually, there's one thing that you can change using your motion control. Let me find it. There we go. So if this screen isn't perfectly centered, or if it's too close or too far away, you can use the same grip. You can use the grip on your controller. Just point it at the screen and move it however you want to move it. It depends. You're just gonna have to play around with that to get it in the right spot. And it'll probably change when you actually get into a game, because I find that sometimes I want to move it closer, sometimes I want to move it further away. Kind of what I'm doing. We can go ahead and move our screen. Where'd the mouse go? There it is. Okay. And I'm just going to open up a custom server here. Open up Sunshine. Alright, and yeah, so now we can see the effects of the VR. So if we move our heads around, we can see the landscape of the map, but we can still see this blackboard here. So we're just going to continue. Just select random. Alright, so congrats. You did it. You are now in VR. And it's pretty cool. So if you look down, you can see, whoa, I'm Scout from Team Fortress 2. That's crazy. And yeah, so you can just play the game like this if you want. It's a little disorienting, to be completely honest with you. Just looking around like this kind of will make you dizzy. It's less so because it's very intense. I mean, it is kind of fast-paced, but it's also very choppy from my end. I don't know if you can see it in the recording. But yeah, it's very like jittery, so I wouldn't play this for more than probably 10 minutes or so, or you could just, I don't know, adjust yourself to it. But basically the way you control in VR is just like in TF2. So you've got this, like, basically this little square here in the center of the screen where you move your crosshair around wherever you have the crosshairs where you shoot. That's how crosshairs work. And then if you move it past this box, it'll force you to turn on either side. Not up or down though. Up or down movement requires you to physically move your head up or down. So it's just like a combination of keyboard and mouse controls, and then you can kind of control the camera with your head. Kind of depends on how you want to do it. But you can fully play this game with just your mouse and not having to move your head if you're really lazy, unless you have to look up or down. But yeah, so, I mean, the models look pretty cool, and when you spawn, sometimes you're facing the wrong direction. But yeah, the models are cool. Rocket jumping is very difficult because, like I said, you can't look up or down with your mouse, so you have to physically look down to shoot at the ground, so you have to do that. And if anyone else is in the room, it's gonna look pretty stupid to them. It's definitely cool. Keep in mind that this is originally for the development kit of Oculus, and I don't think it's been changed since they first released that and designed it for this game. So don't expect like an amazing experience. It's still cool. It's still I think it's worth the setup. Now I will say that Sniper is very strange in VR. I would not play Sniper in VR because when you zoom in, you can see the crosshair moves around in a very odd way. In the recording it might not look weird, but if I look around, I can like lose where my crosshair is right now. Like if I look over to the right, it's like, oh, it's gone, or over the left, it's gone. I could do like a James Bond intro, just do it very slowly. Yeah, I don't know. Don't play Sniper. You can play Huntsman Sniper like this, but I would advise against doing this because it's even more disorienting than just running around as Scout. But yeah, so that was my tutorial on how to get Team Fortress 2 working in VR for the Rift S headset and the Oculus Quest. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was helpful. I spent quite a bit of time getting this to work and figuring this out. So if you could leave a like, that'd be appreciated. And if you need any help getting this set up, just leave a comment. I will try to help you out with any troubleshooting. I can't guarantee I'll be able to help you with it, but I will definitely try. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.